then to then be able to look at what it means for cost of electricity and why that seems to be going up all the time. We can start with that.
Thank you, Ndu, for the question, and thank you again for having me. On behalf of EPRA, we are grateful. The cost of electricity is one that is important to citizens because it powers homes and also to industries. Manufacturing sector depends on it, and that's why it's always important to ensure that the cost of electricity that is passed to consumers is cost reflective. You have to ensure that the costs that are built into it are prudent. And it's not like the cost of electricity has been going up. The last tariff review for Kenya was done in the year 2023. And at that point, of course, when you look at what Kenyans were buying, the cost of maybe 10 units was about 200 shillings and 16. That was the cost of 10 units. We approved the tariff. Today, actually, that tariff is lower. What we are paying between now and 2023 today is lower. But I think what has happened in the last 1 month, I think the forex adjustment, because there has not been any increase in the non-fuel and charge rate, was that the forex adjustment increased slightly by almost 73 cents. And that is why maybe when consumers look at the bill of last month compared to what they are paying now this month, there is a slight increase, but very slight increase. But the reason is that, of course, Kenya Power, had a loan that was due. And this loan is paid the month of December and June. And the slight increase actually is as a result of high volume of transactions on Forex. Otherwise, the other fundamentals remained fairly constant.
One would ask the question then, are they right or are they mistaken to think that because of the loan that was due that we saw high bill rate because Kenya Power had to meet its obligation? So that means that was put there to help Kenya Power pay the debt.
Basically, and thank you, Dennis, for that question. The way electricity tariffs are set, because these are conversations that we may not even end here today, but we can also have another time. When you look at the way the kilowatt that you consume in your house every day, it is coming after various investments have been done. There is what we call generation cost. Generation cost is where you're putting up a geothermal power plant, you're putting up a wind power plant or a thermal power plant or a solar plant in place, so that then you can get the kilowatts. Then after the kilowatt has been generated, normally then it has to be transmitted to the load centers. For example, Lake Turkana Wind is 426 kilometers away from here. So the electrons have to actually travel almost 430 kilometers to get to a citizen who is in Nairobi. So there is a transmission cost that has to be paid for. Then, in addition to the transmission cost, there is distribution cost. Distribution cost is where you get the power now from the transmission system and you take it to the house. So we have various voltages. In Kenya, transmission lines are considered at 500 DC. That is the biggest line that we have. Then we have 400 kV and 220 and 132. Those are considered transmission lines. Then 66 kV, 11 kV, 33 kV are considered distribution level. So, of course, now the voltage also determines. The investments have to be done. So when you look at the tariff then that is paid, it actually ensures that you include the cost of generation, transmission, distribution. And then in addition to that, there is also the investment cost, because when you are buying electricity or when you are putting a power plant, you don't have your own money. You have to borrow money. And also you have to actually install capex. Like, for example, the wind plants you see, or wind turbines, you have to actually have somebody design them for you and ship them to Kenya. So you have to pay for that capex. So then, so we are talking about payment of the capex, the return on investment, paying for the senior debt, like the debt for 20 years, 30 years that has to be paid for. And of course, then the adjustment that have to be done. And the reason why Forex, for example, is adjusted is because investors do not have control of the macroeconomic environment. And that's why most of the investors who come to Kenya, they want to actually be adjusted for forex and also for inflation, because that is those are fundamentals that they are not able to actually have control of. Yeah, because we can control our own inflation here, but we another person who is buying a turbine from another country may look at that as a risk, and they want